Okay, yes. All right, awesome. So today we're going to be talking about biohacking your body and what it can mean for you. And then we're even going to take it up a notch and see what it can mean for your loved ones. So why do we need a biohack today? Well, we are inundated with toxic things that our grandparents definitely didn't have to deal with. We are eating foods that were treated with insecticides, herbicides, fungicides. We have preservatives and food coloring and additives in our foods. We are breathing polluted air. We're drinking and showering and bathing and swimming in polluted water. We're exposed to EMFs from our cell phones all the time. Cell phone radiation, EMFs from Wi-Fi. We have to biohack today. And that is because we're being physically hijacked. So what does biohacking mean? It means taking control of your own biology, optimizing your genetic potential, and becoming the absolute best version of yourself. How? By using nutrigenomics, because you know as well as I do, with everything you put into your body, that becomes you. You truly are what you eat. We're going to talk about LifeVantage. LifeVantage began in 2003 in a lab with a single question. Is declining health something we just simply have to accept as we get older? I was wondering the same thing about 9 years ago. Well, we don't, because there is such a thing as biohacking. Again, it means taking control of a complex system, specifically your own biology, in order to achieve a desired outcome. It is big business. Everything is moving toward the direction of biohacking. Believe me, just watch the covers of Time magazine, Life, etc. Cell, I don't even know, Life is still a magazine. First discovery that LifeVantage made was that our genes do have incredible abilities to keep our bodies healthy, and our DNA is not our destiny. We can actually determine how to express the healthy genes and not express the unhealthy genes. Discovery 2, we have figured that out. We figured out the way to activate these genes. So we originally started in 2003. It was sold in GNC and Rite Aid and CVS. And then when ABC News heard the company's claim that they could reduce oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days, they were like, if that's true, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest news all day. And they sent John Quinones out, an Emmy award-winning investigative journalist, to do an investigation. Well, anyone who saw that ABC primetime back in 2005, who was a researcher, immediately contacted the company because they wanted to start studying this product, whatever they were studying at the time, because they knew oxidative stress was a giant component. Universities such as Harvard, Colorado State, Louisiana State, Virginia Commonwealth, Texas Tech, and on and on and on started studying the products on their research dollars, initiated and funded by these universities and paid for by foundations such as the American Heart Association. So what happened was, when people saw the news report, they tried to get the company, they tried to contact the company to get the product, and they couldn't because they were a biotech company. They had a scientist and a secretary and maybe a couple of lab workers. They were not prepared for a phone call every 20 seconds. They couldn't ramp up production, and nobody got the product. So, and also in 2005, as you remember, we had Katrina. And so there were a lot of things that basically caused them to miss the boat. So they actually had to look at their model and say, you know, this is what we're doing, it's not working. So they switched from direct retail in the stores to word of mouth. And when they did that in 2009. So how big of a deal is biohacking? When we are hijacked by our environment, our genes begin to be overexpressed in some areas and underexpressed in other areas. When we're a child and we're not attacked by the environment, we're a healthy child, our genes are kind of relatively evenly expressed. And that's what happens when you can biohack your gene expression. It goes right back to it. What does oxidative stress look like? Well, remember we were talking about all of those things, the EMFs, the pollutions, the pesticides, herbicides. The underlying damage is caused by something called oxidative stress. And it's just a free radical that has gone around rampaging the cells, and it causes aging, it causes malfunction, and it causes a lot of untoward events to happen in your body. So every organ in your body is impacted by oxidative stress. We have heart issues, skin issues, eye issues, circulatory issues, immune issues, brain, lung, joints, kidney. Every organ and every system is impacted. And your body, when you're young, makes a whole lot of these antioxidant enzymes that combats that oxidative stress. But unfortunately, this slows down over time as we age. So what causes it? We've already talked about a lot of those things, but just eating food and breathing air causes oxidative stress. Just like a car burns fuel and takes oxygen and makes an internal combustion engine, which produces power, but it produces carbon monoxide, which is pollution. Well, our body takes the fuel, which is food, and the oxygen, which we breathe, puts it in the mitochondria to make ATP, which is our energy, and free radicals, so oxidative stress. So all of those things cause it, and it's a huge deal. If you go to PubMed.gov, which is the Google for doctors and researchers, and type in oxidative stress, you're going to see over 225,000 studies on the ravaging effects of oxidative stress on the body. It's a big deal. So the old way of doing antioxidants is taking an antioxidant, such as vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, the list goes on. And those are a 1-to-1 ratio. One antioxidant molecule neutralizes one free radical versus your own enzymes, which are 1 to 1 million. One antioxidant molecule neutralizes 1 million free radicals. And that's a way better way of doing it, right? That is just light years ahead of direct antioxidants. You cannot make enough of an impact taking direct antioxidants because your body produces 300 sextillion, that's a 3 with 23 zeros behind it, free radicals a day. Now your superoxide dismutase enzyme can, a million free radicals knocked out, and it's not eliminated. It just does that day after day after day after day after day. So to get the same antioxidant protection by direct antioxidants, you'd have to eat, 11 pounds of blueberries or 7 pounds of broccoli sprouts, or eat 375 oranges. And you can see that as people age, this line is correlating to oxidative stress, and the lower x-axis is age. And oxidative stress goes up as we age, and free radical damage goes up as we age, and we get wrinklier and tired, more tired, etc. And that's no bueno. If you take Protandim Nrf2 activator, however, oxidative stress levels go back to the level of a healthy 20-year-old in everyone, in 40% in 30 days. That's a big deal. So it does it by activating a protein called NRF2, and that is the master regulator of your body's cellular response. It puts out the fire. It acts as a thermostat in the cell, and it detects stress. And when it detects stress, it goes into the nucleus and codes for the production of your survival genes, okay? Again, when that ABC Primetime aired back in 2005, ABC News heard that the company was making the claim that these products reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. They sent John Quinones out. He's an Emmy Award-winning investigative journalist to disprove it. Usually the CEO is running out the back door with his briefcase over his head going, no comment, no comment, no comment, when 60 Minutes, Nightline, Dateline, CBS, ABC Primetime, etc., come knocking at the door. But they said, you know what, we're doing a study anyway, we could use an extra participant. They had John Quinones roll up his arms, sleeves, and took his blood. And like so many of the other participants, oxidative stress initially was high and came down to the level of a healthy newborn, really, afterwards. So this is a big deal. Now, the reason it's got 26 peer-reviewed published studies now on PubMed is just because of that. It's a big, big deal. And these studies have come out in journals such as the flagship journal of the American Heart Association, Circulation, Aging Cell, Enzyme Research, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of these universities have initiated and funded their own studies on Protandim, including the National Institute on Aging, which is part of the National Institutes of Health. They studied Protandim in a 2011 cohort, and they've studied multiple other natural products to see if they extend healthy lifespan in a mammal, including the components in Protandim, which we're going to get into in a minute. And none of them extended healthy lifespan in a mammal until Protandim, and they even accidentally dosed it at half dose for the first 10 months. So again, this breakthrough Nrf2 synergizer aired on Primetime and ABC in 2005. Universities and institutions started their self-funded research, and they switched to direct sales in 2009, and that helped them grow from 10 million a year to over 200 million a year. They have now 7 US patents and 6 international patents. This has appeared on NBC, The Wall Street Journal, ABC News, PBS, Dr. Phil, etc. And in 2015, there was a meta-analysis of all the research on the Nrf2 pathway, which, by the way, Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer is the most potent activator of that pathway. that has ever been discovered. Nothing else has been able to make the claim that it reduces oxidative stress by 40% on average in 30 days in humans, except this, and this is an FDA scrutinized statement. The conclusion of this meta-analysis was that NRF2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. So what does it look like? Well, these mice on the right, you see the yellow caplet in their cage, they were given Protandim NRF2, and you see they're the same age as the mice on the left, which were given a placebo. The mice on the right have black, shiny coats. They are acting much younger. And the mice on the left, you can see gray spots on their coats. They just look older, but they're the same age. Now, what does it look like in maybe your dog? This is my friend, Dr. Thompson's best friend's dog, Oscar. Take a look for yourself.
Oscar, hey man, come here, Oscar. Hey, come here, Oscar. Come here. Come here, Oscar. Come here, man. Hey, Oscar. Come here, Oscar. Come here. Look at he's running. Good boy.
So you can see Oscar is moving a lot better. This is a pony, and you can see that pony does not move very well. Initially, she's got a taut leash on him or lead on him. She's trying to help him move faster, get him going. This is 3 days after activating his NRF2 pathway with Protandim NRF2 Synergizer. He's walking a little better. This is 8 days. And here he is in several months coming up. Several months later, he's much older, several months older, and he's walking like a younger pony. So you can see these products actually do have an amazing effect. And what are the benefits? Well, again, helps the body detoxify, keeps the master blueprint of the cell's function intact, reduces oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days through NRF2 activation, and it produces enzymes capable of neutralizing millions of free radicals, helping to regulate survival genes and supporting the body's innate ability to repair and rejuvenate cells. And it's made of 5 herbs that have been used in human health for centuries: turmeric, green tea, milk thistle, ashwagandha, and bacopa. And no, you cannot just take those individual herbs and get the same effect. That is the reason for the 7 US patents and 6 international patents. There is a synergy. When compounds, the recipe matters. You know, if you have grandma's German chocolate cake that won the World's Fair in 1922 or whatever, and then you just say, well, it had cocoa and butter and chocolate and sugar in it and flour, and you try to throw those things into a pot or a pan and put it in the oven, you can tell I don't bake, it's not going to taste the same. Nor is it going to look the same. So recipe matters. The actual increase in activation of these genes is literally 1,800% more than the sum of the parts. So that is synergy. The second thing that impacts the aging of our cells is mitochondrial decline. Now, remember we talked about the free radicals and the oxidative stress. Those damage not only the lipids and proteins and DNA in our cells, it also damages the very energy producing factories, which are our mitochondria. Remember from high school biology, the mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. And when they get bombarded by these free radicals, it damages them. And once they get damaged to a bad enough degree, they self-destruct. They literally, it's called mitophagy. They just do away with them. They recycle the parts, and now the cell is trying to do the work that it needs to do with less energy. Your brain cells have thousands of mitochondria. Your heart has thousands of mitochondria. Your eyes have thousands of mitochondria. Until you age and have this mitophagy and this decline due to oxidative damage, you now have maybe hundreds, okay? And that's why we get tired and foggy, brain foggy as we get older. So we need to upregulate our mitochondrial biogenesis, which is the making of new healthy mitochondria, as well as reducing that oxidative damage, right? So you can tell mitochondria is a big topic by just going to PubMed, which is, again, Google for doctors and researchers, and typing in mitochondrial dysfunction. There's over 43,000 studies, and they go up every single year. And the master regulator of the mitochondrial biogenesis phenomenon, or the pathway, the master regulator of mitochondrial biogenesis is a pathway called NRF1, which stands for nuclear respiratory factor 1. And again, it's a new area of research, but there's increasing research on it. And when you turn on NRF1 with our Protandim Nrf2 Synergizer, you have more ATP, you have more healthy mitochondria, which supports brain function and cognitive health and heart health. You're waking up your NRF1 protein. It also reduces oxidative stress because damaged mitochondria not only produce less energy, they produce more pollution, more free radicals. They produce free radicals themselves because they are the factory, and that's the source of pollution, right? And again, 5 natural compounds that I was taking before I found out about these products: alpha lipoic acid, coenzyme Q10, grape extract, quercetin, and acetyl L-carnitine. You've heard about the benefits of these compounds, and they are wonderful mitochondrial foods by themselves, but again, the recipe matters. There is a synergy to our formula, and we are taking full use of that. So NRF1 Synergizer. The third component that happens when we age is a decline in a protein called sirtuins. There's actually 7 different sirtuin proteins. 1 is in the cytoplasm of the cell, 3 are in the nucleus, and 3 are in the mitochondria. And these proteins are the CEO of the cell. They tell all the other proteins where to go and what to do, including those proteins that are produced when NRF2 Synergizer is activated. They also silence damaging genes, okay? They actually take a gene that, if expressed, would be harmful. They silence it, they prevent it from being expressed. And they also go back and repair double-strand DNA breaks. Now, again, as we get older, our body's production of sirtuin proteins goes down a lot, or drastically, like 50% between the ages of 40 and 60. Now, if you look up sirtuin on PubMed, you're going to see, again, there's an increasing body of literature every year. There's almost 10,000 studies. And we recently found out that a compound that we've known about for a long time, NAD, which has a role in energy production and ATP synthesis, NAD is actually the fuel for our sirtuin proteins. They will not work without it. If you don't have NAD, you are dead within 30 seconds. This is a huge, huge factor. And one of the 100 most influential people was detailed by Time Magazine in 2014. It was Dr. David Sinclair, a Harvard researcher, who's really having a great deal of success with NAD, and they say he's making age reversal real. So when NAD drops, we feel older, we act older, we don't have as much stamina. And if you can find a way, which he did, to increase NAD in the mice, it's like the closest thing to the fountain of youth, says Dr. Sinclair. All right, so it's found in all living cells. We increase the rate at which the body makes NAD, and now the researchers at Harvard could not tell the difference between those older mice versus the younger mice. They look the same. And I'm going to show you what that actually looks like. This mouse on the left, he's up here. You see him? His little gray ears and his little gray tail. That's a foot, actually. He's been engineered to have more NAD and sirtuin activity. This mouse down here is a normal mouse. They're both on treadmills that are running at the same speed. And the mouse on the left actually broke the treadmill. He ran farther than the treadmill had ever been programmed to run because he felt amazing. So watch this.
And 50% further, but actually some of them ran so far that the little treadmill stopped working. And we had to reprogram the software because this program had never seen a mouse that ran more than 3 kilometers.
3 kilometers for a mouse.
For an old mouse, they outran the young mice.
So I love that. The old mouse outran the young mice. So NAD Synergizer supports healthy longevity, supports autophagy. We hear about that with intermittent fasting and calorie restriction. Autophagy is your body just taking old cells and cleaning them up and recycling their parts. And that helps prevent all kinds of bad things from happening. NAD Synergizer improves mental focus and concentration, supports a positive mood and motivation. Who doesn't want that, especially today? Boosts mental and physical energy, and it maintains healthy cholesterol levels. And again, it's 4 natural compounds: olive leaf extract, wasabi, theocrine, which is a component of tea, and cuprous niacin. Now, I mentioned chronic calorie restriction and fasting. You can dramatically increase your sirtuin activity by chronic calorie restriction. But what does that mean? That is actually 700 calories a day. It's like a 60 to 70% reduction in calories long term. Now, who wants to live on 700 calories a day? You may not live forever, but you're going to feel like it for sure. That will definitely increase your sirtuin proteins by 94%, and that's great. But you are going to have nutritional deficiencies, and you're going to feel hangry and grumpy and everything else. You can take precursors to NAD, such as nicotinamide riboside or NMN, and there are companies like True Niagen and Elysium Basis that sell those precursors, and it does increase your sirtuin activity in your NAD, but it takes a while to do it, and it's not very much. It's like bringing a load of bricks to a construction site, a housing construction site, and expecting the house to go up faster. Well, if the workers were standing around waiting for the load of bricks, yes, it would work. It would help the house go up faster. But when you take Protandim NAD Synergizer, it's like bringing a new construction crew, a second or a third construction crew, a load of bricks, a load of mortar, a load of everything else, the wires, the paint, the wood, the everything. It's 100% increase in sirtuin activity in 24 hours after taking your first dose. That's even more than long-term chronic calorie restriction. That is a huge difference. So it's 50 times more powerful than what's on the market out there that people are buying right now. Silly. So to summarize the three synergizers, we call them the tri-synergizers. The NRF2 is the cleanup crew, the firefighters, the sanitation department. They put out the fire of inflammation. NRF1 is the furnace, providing more power to your cells to let them do the work of detoxifying and everything else that our bodies do. And NAD is the CEO of the cell. It tells all the other proteins what to do. It helps protect DNA from breaks and expression of bad genes. It's like the CEO or the mom. Now, each of the products works independently very well by themselves. There are target genes that the NRF2 synergizer impacts, the NRF1 synergizer impacts, and the NAD synergizer impacts. You don't need to know the names of the genes, but two of the NRF2 genes are, hemoxygenase 1 and NQO1, and Protandim NRF2 synergizer increases these by 50% and 40% respectively. The NRF1 synergizer impacts the NRF1 gene itself and another gene called PGC1 alpha, upregulating those by 64% and 69%. And the NAD synergizer impacts the key enzyme in the NAD recycling pathway, NAMPT, by 12%, as well as the central enzyme in NAD synthesis, and NMA, easy to say, NMNAT1. Try to say that 3 times fast. But when you take the three together, look at the massive increase in each of the genetic expressions. The beneficial antioxidant enzyme NQO1 is upregulated 73%, and hemoxygenase 838%. The NRF1 gene is upregulated 84%, and then the PGC1 alpha 118%. And then the NAD recycling gene 127%, and the NAD synthesis gene 226%. Massive synergy among the synergizers. Pretty cool, right? Nobody else has this stuff. Now, there's also a NRF2 activation for the brain, and you can see the effects of activating NRF2 in the brain in 1 week. The writing is neater, the spelling is more accurate, there are fewer mistakes. This is a massive improvement in the structure and function of the brain. Here's another example of brain before and after activation. Now, this person was taking both NRF1 and NRF2 as well as Axio liquid brain food, and you can see on the brain map before activation, there were areas of red, which is hyperactivity of the brain, more activity than the normative data. So he was a little bit distracted, right? Hard time focusing. After activation, I believe it was 3 weeks, everything is normalized. His brain is like the average of the normative population. So, summarize, what if you could feel like you're supposed to feel and used to feel? What if you slept better, had more mental clarity and focus, had fewer crashes throughout the day, had consistent, amazing mood and energy all day? What if you felt really confident in your body's ability to protect itself? What if all of that goodness on the inside actually showed on the outside? Well, we've seen a little bit that it does, right? In the mouse and the pony and the dog, but let's take a look in people. This is my friend Amy. In 2014, she was in her early 50s and gorgeous. And 3 years later, she's in her mid to late 50s. And I believe, in my opinion, she looks 10 years younger, right? What do you think? I think she looks amazing. These ladies were using the NRF2 on the inside originally, but then the company came out with a topical NRF2 for your skin, your largest organ. And this is 60 days after. This one woman on the left was going to have this excess skin on her eyelids removed so she could open her eyes a little better and see a little better. But you can see her eyelid skin just got a little tighter. And so she canceled that procedure. The lady on the right, her 11s are much less noticeable. The little sagging skin around her jowl line and marionette line is much, much, much less apparent. These people activating inside and out, you can see the before and after photos. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and yes, good health on the inside definitely shows on the outside. These people are now glowing in a good way. Okay, so I love these pictures because these were part of our pilot study for the topical Nrf2 activation called True Science. You can see the marionette line here is 1/3 as long and 1/3 or 1/4 as deep. That is a tremendous difference. And I love these photos because they're the same angle, the same expression, the same lighting, the same distance. This lady's epicanthal fold line and crow's feet are much less noticeable after topical Nrf2 activation. And 94% of the women who tried it wanted it and would recommend it to a friend. That's unheard of. If you have a product, you hope for better than 70%. Most products are about 40% who would recommend it to their friends. So here we go. Now this is a pony that you can see before he was activated. He just didn't look like he had a much pep in his step. And after activation, he really looks a lot healthier. Obviously, you know, shedding can happen because of the weather. I don't know what season this was in. It might've been spring when he was supposed to be shedding anyway, but he just looks peppier. And this is my friend's Diet Lorio's horse, her daughter's horse, Rye. They bought him in July of 2017. And you can see he was 18 years old there. In July and August, he was 18 years old. And then they started activating his Nrf2 pathway. And just a few months later, 4 months later, he's now 18 years young. Look at the difference in his top line and his neck and his muscling and his shine. It's just absolutely incredible. And here he is in April of 2019. Now he's 20 years young. This is what biohacking looks like. Here's some more photos. This dog's belly is not very happy. Now you can see he's got a lovely coat and very comfortable. These are two siblings. This is not my dog, but it's my friend's dog. He and his sister are in the same litter, and you can see she looks way more anxious. He looks totally chill, no gray hair. She's got a lot of gray hair. Here's an area of skin irritation that with Nrf2 activation, they had tried everything. His skin's normal now. Again, these are the brothers, a same happy dog on the right, a gray haired, a little bit stressed dog on the left, a belly that's just very not happy, and now it's happy. Same with the neckline and paws. You can tell this dog's very uncomfortable. Now he looks beautifully happy, and this nose and eyes look a lot healthier. You can also activate your scalp, and the company came out with the True Science hair care. And when the scalp is happier and healthier, the hair looks better. It actually has an appearance of thicker, fuller hair. And it's absolutely obvious. And it also is helping the hair to be more manageable and shiny and smooth. And so people are loving it. This is Katya. She's got all these fine new baby hairs in her temple area. Here's Josephine. She is my favorite person on the earth. And she had a beautiful head of hair. And then she started to notice her scalp was widening. So she took a picture, tried our hair care, and 6 weeks later, I think it was 7 weeks here, it's a lot less wide. And this is 7 months later. And her hair, she can't even believe it's her own hair. I absolutely love her hair now. It's so beautiful and shiny. This is Jean before, 4 weeks into it, 12 weeks after activating his scalp. And I don't know this young lady, but she started using it. She's a customer or distributor, and she definitely has some filling in of her hair along her temple. Now, again, we are talking about the health of all cells. As I mentioned, Nrf2 and all the other synergizers impact the health of all cells. But it's so important to take care of your gut, because your gut is where 80% of your immune system resides. And most people on a standard American diet are eating processed foods, carbs, sugars, and those things feed the unhealthy bacteria, the bacteria that makes you sick and fat, the Firmicutes. Now, if you have to replace the good bacteria, because when you drink wine or use artificial sweeteners, they kill the good bacteria. So you have to replace the good bacteria, and you have to feed the good bacteria. So the probio and the prebio work beautifully together to get the good bacteria flourishing and crowd out the bad bacteria. Most probiotics you take, they are 96% killed in the stomach acid. I love our ProBio because it's vacuum sealed, freeze dried, double wall protected from the stomach acid, layered, so the ones that are better suited to the proximal colon are released first, and those that are better suited to the distal colon are released last. And lastly, it has Wellmune in it, which is scientifically proven, clinically proven to reduce the incidence and severity and duration of colds and flu. So how about that? And we also have a physical performance gut line and weight management line that's centered on the gut health, and you can see there is absolute benefit in terms of reducing belly fat. And so we have the prebiotic, probiotic that are part of that, and also a fat burn and a really healthy, clean protein. And the system really works. So what I wanted to bring to you today is that you can join us if you're already enjoying the products, loving what these synergizers are doing for your body, these activators, these probiotics. I didn't even talk about the omega, which is an absolute clean source of omega-3s. We get too many omega-6s in our body. So we have it in a whole line, skincare, hair care. We even have a pet product. And if you're loving what they do, even if you haven't tried them, but you're impressed by the science, and you can think of people who would absolutely need to have these in their bodies yesterday, you can start making money by helping people get healthy. You would be paid 30 to 40% of whatever anybody buys their first month. And it's really easy to get to the 40% because the company lets you share your personally enrolled customers' personal volume with yours. So you don't even have to order anything more than 40 PV, which is a NRF2 or an NAD. And you get paid royalty commissions or leveraged income every month on people's reorders. And these products are so sticky, people never want to get off of them. It's a perfect meld. LifeVantage takes care of everything. They take care of the shipping, the storing, the inventory, the cutting the checks, the accounting, everything, legal, the whole thing. Is a laptop lifestyle. You get your gorgeous replicated website, you share with people, you just invite them to our group, which you're already in, obviously, and invite them to take a look around, and they can use the noodle in their head to decide whether they want it. And usually they decide, oh my gosh, I need this in my body. So you get a gorgeous replicated website, as I said, super easy. And this month, it's absolutely free to become a distributor. And what does that mean? If you start sharing and you're a distributor, the monthly average commission is $13. That would pay for about a quarter of your per tandem, right? But if you really start sharing, you're going to go up in ranks. And you can see this one on the left is our old income disclosure, and the one on the right is the newer one. And the numbers are higher on the right. So for example, a Pro 3 on the old compensation plan made $580 a month. And today they make $626 a month on average. Pro 4s, $1,193 before, and now $1,496 a month. Pro 5s, $2,551 on the old comp plan, and $3,107 on average a month. And Pro 6 is under $6,000 before, and now almost $7,000. So how would an extra $600 a month, how would that feel right now? I mean, I think that's the wonderful thing is you can probably think of 10 people already that need these products. You just invite them to take a look, and when they order, you get 30 to 40% of what they order. We have so much fun. This is back when we could socially close. You can see we have an amazing dynamic team. The company sends us all around the world on the most amazing trips. This is us in Ireland. We were in New Zealand. We were in Ireland, New Zealand. We went on a Mediterranean cruise. We went on a Caribbean cruise. We've been to Park City, Utah, the Bahamas, Cancun, you name it. And I mean, how about this? Every single day you get messages like this. I'm more focused, energy all day, better sleep, up at 4:30, work out by 6:15, work one job from 8 to 2, then my other job from 2:30 to 8. I have the energy to keep going, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just on and on and on. My first 24 hours was amazing, but my day 4 has even been better. Energy, and I feel like I have more hours in the day, so focused and positive mood. Who would want to give that gift to somebody? And then they pay you for that? Oh my gosh, it's incredible. Erin Brockovich, you recognize her. She's on our board of trustees. We have the most amazing corporate team. They've got over, 70 years of corporate experience. And we have rock stars and world beaters and changers like Erin Brockovich on our board. It's just been amazing. And you know what? We have so much fun.